If you've never heard of Section 12J of the Income Tax Act, then this video will give you a brief explanation of how a Section 12J investment works from a South African taxpayer's perspective. So, what is Section 12J? Well, it is a section of the Income Tax Act introduced by National Treasury to incentivize South African taxpayers to invest into approved Section 12J companies. Section 12J companies invest into qualifying South African businesses. For example, hotels, asset rental companies, tech companies, agricultural businesses, solar businesses, and many more. These local businesses stimulate the economy and create jobs which our country desperately needs. So how are South African taxpayers incentivized to invest into Section 12J companies? They are incentivized in two ways. Firstly, and most importantly, the South African taxpayers are investing in Section 12J companies, which invest the funds into specific opportunities likely to generate significant returns in the form of dividends and/or capital growth. Secondly, the South African taxpayer will be able to claim up to 45% of their investment from SARS in the form of a tax credit. As an example, if an individual investor in the highest tax bracket invests 1 million rand in an approved Section 12J company, the investor will in most cases be able to claim up to 450,000 rand from SARS. This means that once the investor has submitted his or her e-filing, the investor should receive up to 450,000 rand, and for the duration of the investment, earn a return on the full 1 million rand invested. Sounds too good to be true? Why would National Treasury do this, you may ask? Well, as we all know, the South African economy needs investments, and Treasury has adopted this tax incentive following the success of similar incentives used across the globe. Since inception of Section 12J legislation, more than 5.5 billion rand has already been invested into Section 12J companies. So, what's the catch? Well, there are two limitations. Firstly, in order to retain the tax deduction, the investor needs to remain invested in the Section 12J company for a minimum period of 5 years. This period is relatively short when compared to other similar investments, such as retirement annuities or endowments. If the investor exits before the 5-year period, then the full tax deduction claimed will have to be paid back to SARS. Secondly, when the investor redeems his/her Section 12J investment, the investor will have to pay capital gains tax to the original investment amount, as well as on any growth in the investment. This may not be significant taking into consideration the annual capital gains tax exclusion and the upfront tax benefits. So, who should invest in a Section 12J company? We would only recommend that South African taxpayers who meet the following requirements invest in a Section 12J company. The investor is comfortable with the nature of the investment and a fixed 5-year term. The investor has an income tax liability within the financial year of investment. This will allow the investor to claim up to 100% of his or her PAYE paid, and/or the investor has a capital gains tax liability within the financial year of investment. This will allow the investor to reduce his or her capital gains tax amount owed to SARS to zero. If you have a capital gains tax event in the financial year, or if you are paying income tax, reach out to us at info@jaltech.co.za or 011 880 0950 for a recommendation on which Section 12J company to invest in.